Hi everyone, welcome back. So this time we have our datum identification. What's a datum? Well, datum features are the surfaces and features of size which we use to establish a theoretically perfect datum. I know it just used datum to define datum. More or less, a datum is what you measure from. If you've ever seen a problem where you have they draw a line through something, like maybe they have some pulleys, and then they draw an arrow from that and say we're measuring the distance, the rope has gone down from here. This is our datum line. Think of it like the start of a race, okay? Everybody has to have the same starting point, otherwise what's the point of having a race? And so datum features are the surfaces, the actual things we're using to establish what is a theoretically perfect datum, because our datums, they're supposed to be like absolutely perfect. In real life though, things are going to vary that are touching it, but we're establishing this perfect plane to go from. Now we use a datum feature symbol, which is this square box with a little leg and then a tripod to stand on, to tell which surface or feature size is our datum feature. This will always have a letter in it. Okay, it will always have a letter in it. There's only certain letters you can use, which doesn't really matter in this class, but I'll go ahead and tell you that I, O, and Q not allowed because those look like ones and zeros. So how do we apply them? Well, they can be attached to a feature control frame like this. We can apply them on the side of our object, on the bottom surface right here. I'm not going to make you do this. Remember, these annotated models, not going to happen. This you do have to do. Notice the letter is always, always, always right side up. Doesn't matter if the datum feature is angled to the side, the letter is always the correct configuration, okay? Make sure it's easy to read. So we can apply it to a feature control frame like this. We can apply it to an extension line from the surface directly to the surface. Extension lines right here on either side. There's various ways to do it. However, be very careful that you understand what you're doing, okay? Because sometimes when we have things like this where we're attaching a datum to a flatness tolerance, that's going to be very important later. It's going to actually change things as we get more and more datums. It's kind of magical. That's going to be towards the end of this semester. We'll run into issues where we have to really take into account, well, I attached my datum to this particular tolerance and see how that will build up and give me extra tolerance and extra ways to keep my part from failing. Okay, so here we go again. Now this is for features of size. Features of size. So we have lots of ways of doing it. We can apply it directly to our dimension line right here. We can apply it to our feature control frames. We can apply it to extension lines. We can even apply it on an offset right here. We'll explain later why that is offset. So there are lots of different ways to apply it, but it's always going to be either from an extension line for a feature size dimension or to that dimension line. Okay? Extension line or dimension line. And also in our annotated model view, you can see how we have attached those. Now, maybe you're not thinking this, but maybe you are. You're saying, well, wait a minute. Didn't you say these are like surfaces, things like it sits on? You can also think about like a chuck. If I have a feature control frame, or say a datum, which is attached to a surface like this, some cylindrical surface, it's very much like I'm putting this in a chuck and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to clamp it down. I'm going to use that guy to orient everything. Okay? So that will hold it in place. It can't rotate back and forth. It might be able to still rotate in between. We're not necessarily controlling that rotation, but it can't move that way, or try to rotate into any of those chuck pieces. So it's just like you clamping it down like a drill bit going into a drill. Now, it's not always easy to have one particular feature that you can hold on to. It's not easy at all. So sometimes with a crazy part, like maybe like an engine block, you're gonna have like several areas, which might be like little circular areas or square areas or just points that you say, I want this particular spot to be where you hold it when you're measuring everything. Usually you're gonna have a couple points and they're going to specify a plane. They're gonna specify a plane or some way that it's going to hold and constrain the part to allow you to measure everything and see if it passes. Okay, to see if it passes. So what it comes with is you're going to have a letter and a number. You might have multiple points or areas that you're using to define a particular datum. It's going to have a symbol in the top, which will tell you what kind of shape it is. It might be square, it might be rectangular, it might be a circle, whatever it is, it will tell you. And there'll be 3 endpoints for it. Like you'll have a line going down from that datum simulator, datum target. It'll come down to a line, an area, or a point, and this will help you determine what kind of datum target it is. And the area can be both circular and rectangular or square, or whatever it needs to be. Finally, the last thing we're going to talk about is our datum reference frame. Now, these are 3 mutually perpendicular planes that establish a coordinate system. It's how you measure everything. Okay? 3 perpendicular planes that help you measure everything. And these are created by our datum features that is being held by, sat on, whatever it is. It's helping orient it. So when we measure multiple parts, we're measuring them in the exact same way. That's the big thing. Measure everything. We want to have it repeatable. Measure repeatability. Repeatability, goodness. If you can't do it the same way the second time, there's no point in doing it at all. So that's all for this time. Thank you for paying attention. And I promise you, everything you've seen for the past few videos, we're going to be jumping into and really expanding on during this semester. So have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye-bye.